Hello there, and welcome to another episode of the Overcome Yourself podcast. As you know, my name is Nicole, and today I am here with Desiree. I'm super excited. And Desiree helps people with their health, and she's been doing that for more than 40 years. And so, more than just health. And feeling healthy and fit. She also helps people feel calm, which is a big part of, I was actually talking to one of my coaches, right? Like if you if you're always in like fight or flight mode, if you always feel like there's a tiger running after you, how can you focus on like working on your muscles? Like you got to go, right?
Mm-hmm.
So getting calm and getting centered, I think, is a really big part of health and fitness and nutrition and getting all that stuff, right? So I'm super excited. Take it away, Desiree. Tell me a little bit more about you and your business and how you help your clients.
Okay, so basically, my main product that I sell is a calcium magnesium product, um, and it's a de-stressor. It helps with PMS and many things. Um, so I'm just mentioning that because it's kind of the background to what I'm doing. I've helped people for so long with their bodies, and the one thing that I've learned is that minerals are your fundamental for your body, no matter whether whether you're exercising or just living. Your minerals are key. Your body's function depends on minerals because it's kind of like it's like the electrical current in your house. If your electrical current is working well, then all your things work, your lights work, your computer works, and blah, blah, blah. It all works. But when there's interference, it kind of cuts you. And in the worst case scenario, blackout, which I relate to, compare that to body death in the body. So basically, the electrical current of the human body depends on minerals here in your head, in your skull, and that skull is there to protect that little mechanism there. And then so all your electrical current. So if you've got enough minerals, then the electrical current will work. So if there's a signal it needs to send to your toe or to your brain or anywhere where something's malfunctioning, then your electrical current, if it's working well, it will work. So for example, if you put your finger on the hot stove, if your body's electrical current is working, you will react very fast and jump back and you won't get burnt. But if your electrical current is not working well, the delay between the message getting from your finger to the brain and then back again to move that finger is longer. So then you're more likely to get burnt. And also, if you step out in the road and there's a car coming, if your electrical current is in good condition, you'll jump back and the car won't hit you. But if it's not working, you might get hit because the delay in your body's reaction will create that problem. Anyway,
Right,
so
that
that,
makes a lot of sense. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. Just so you know, you disappeared. Your live pictures disappeared. It's just your static picture there now.
I did, and it was just because I saw it was lagging a little bit, so I just turned my camera off so that
Ah, okay.
we don't put too much stress on there. So I'll give it a minute and I'll turn myself back on, but I just want to make sure I don't lose you there.
Okay, I just want to understand. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'm sorry about that, but I just want to make sure that I didn't cause it to freeze anymore. Take the stress off.
Sure. No,
So,
that's fun.
speaking of stress, one of the
Mm.
things that you mentioned when we were getting ready for this is that one of the things you do is dealing with stress, and you
Uh-huh.
help your clients smile more and worry less. So, can you
Yes.
tell me a little bit about that and how that ties in with these electrical signals that we're talking about?
Okay. So basically, um, the main calcium and magnesium are your main minerals. They're the most abundant ones. And if you're lacking those, your heart can give trouble, your all kinds of things. You get PMS issues and babies, you'll get colic, babies will get colic, and some people get constipation. There's such a, I mean, there's hundreds of body problems that you can have if you don't have enough calcium, magnesium. But then there's another thing to add to that picture, is that if you get dehydrated, then you're going to be having problems. So the question I ask people is, can drinking water sorry, I'll get back to answer your question about the stress and all that, but I just want
to
give...
come back around. I believe it's coming back around. Don't worry.
Okay. So basically, my question is, can drinking water dehydrate you? And what do you think?
Well, yeah, because probably like one of the things that I've learned is too much of a good thing can be a bad thing. And so I feel like that might be a trick question where, right? Because we're taking in so much water that then we are also like getting rid of a lot of water, right?
Yeah, so you're hitting the right mark. There's a little bit more to it, but you got it. So basically, the more you drink, the more you pee. The more you drink, the more you pee. So what's happening is you're actually losing more and more minerals, and you're getting more and more dehydrated. Yeah. And, some people say drink 3 gallons a day and all that. It's like, oh my gosh, no, please don't do that. It's like, that's not good. So what I encourage people to do is to put Celtic, I prefer the Celtic sea salt, which comes from the sea, to put that in their drinking water. So this bottle here that I've got here, it's a kombucha thing, but it's the glass bottle that I like. So in this bottle is my drinking water, but with that drinking water is my salt, and that's this Celtic sea salt. So I put, so that has got about 80 minerals in it, the Celtic sea salt. And the reason why I like the Celtic is because I know it's got iodine in as well. Whereas the other salts, the pink ones and that are good, but they may or may not have the iodine. And iodine is very, very key. And I'll give you a bit more info about that. So basically, I put that in my drinking water, and I encourage people to do that. When I test people, almost 99% of people are dehydrated. And when I get, and it's probably all kind, and then you're drinking coffee, you're eating sugars, you're having Gatorades and all these bad things, and they all are dehydrators. And they actually, like, for example, Gatorade is really bad for you. It's got all kinds of stuff that I wouldn't let near my kids, for example. So basically, our bodies need minerals, but we need them in the right form and not with all the toxins that go along with those things. So basically, if I have a nutrition program on my site, it's called How to Build a Healthy Body, and it's simple. And I don't sell most of the ingredients, but I can tell people where to get them. And that program, if you have that, and that'll keep your blood sugar stable, because if your blood sugar goes like blah, 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 you're going to feel the emotions that go with that. And a lot of people end up on psychiatric medication because what this does to their bodies. But one of the key things of this salt is the iodine. Your thyroid, which is here, is very dependent on iodine to function properly. And this is your metabolism gland. So if your metabolism is working well, you'll feel chilled out. If your metabolism is, you're going to feel depressed, cranky, all kinds of emotions, and also serious physical conditions. And so on my site too, I have a list of the dehydration symptoms, and you will not believe blood pressures on there, all kinds of things that people, the doctor normally says, don't have salt, blood pressure, and which I agree, but not with this salt. That means the white junk you buy in the supermarket. I had a lady from France come to see me many years ago, and she was not allowed to go into a certain place in my area here because her blood pressure was so high. And she came to see me, and I tested her. And I want to just find it here. sorry, I'm just looking for the,
Oh no, take your
ah,
time. You're fine.
where is it? Why is it not in here? Somebody
Mhm.
been fiddling in my, oh, golly, golly. Oh, I found it. I found it. Good. So this here is seawater. It's just seawater. And when I tested her, she needed 8 of these for, because I can have a way of testing and how many. And then she called her doctor in France. And he said, no, you can't take that salt, your blood pressure. And he went on at her and she just didn't listen to him, and she listened to me. The next day she was able to go into that building. Her blood pressure came right down because
Wow.
we need this. It's minerals and it all works on the body. Whether you low blood, high blood pressure, all kinds of things, you need this. It's salt. Now the word salt comes from the word salary. The derivation of the word is salary, pay. And it comes from way back hundreds of years ago when the sailors sailed around the world to go and trade, and their pay was salt.
Oh wow.
So it gives you some idea of the value of salt. It's kind of like it's a survival thing. So anyway, so the basic thing is that we need salt, but not the white junk stuff in the supermarket. That stuff, I tell people, throw that away. And so what I encourage people to do is put salt in their drinking water, and the quantity they put in is different for everybody. Your body and my body are different. So the amount that we each need is going to be different. So I tell people to put the salt in, and like, let's say a quarter teaspoon or whatever in the size bottle, and then to taste it. If it tastes too salty, obviously there's too much salt and you've got to put more water. If it's flat tasting, then there's not enough salt, because water used to, in the past, had flavor to it, it had life to it. And unfortunately, it's lost that life. So if it's too flat, you need a bit more. So you can just adjust it to your own needs. And that's really the fundamental that I teach people. And then sorry, I just need to scratch this again.
Mhm.
Sorry. Um, and then if you have like the nutrition in that nutrition program, which is your basic stuff, it's your brewer's yeast, it's got your it's got B vitamins, but all in a natural balanced form. You've got other things in there which you can see on the site. And if you have, so your blood sugar is stable and your electrical current is working, you're going to be much more chilled out. You're not going to have this blood sugar spike, because that spike is not good. It throws you up and down emotionally and physically. So yeah, you'll be able. I need to touch my nose again. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. This is
You
audio
would you,
only, so no worries.
oh, okay, okay. Oh, okay, good, good.
Yeah,
Um,
so I mean everything you're saying makes so much sense.
mm,
When I was having some issues with my muscles, and I
mm.
went to the doctor, one of the things that they recommended, they were like, "Oh, you need magnesium," and so it was actually, I was craving chocolate a lot, and when I
Ah,
started taking magnesium, the chocolate cravings went away. My body
uh,
was begging for
uh,
magnesium, and then I was having, like the cramps and stuff. And
yeah,
calcium, we know that's for bones. And so when you're saying, when you talk about calcium and magnesium, I'm like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense, because that's your bones and your muscles. And that's what, that's like your foundation. Like you need to keep that strong, to
uh,
support everything else that you're doing, right?
yeah.
Yeah, so that makes a lot of sense. Um and the salt, that's interesting, but when you think about it, it does make sense, because salt helps you retain water, right? And
The
so,
minerals, well, the minerals go into your cells, so
mhm,
your body gets hydrated.
right.
And yeah, so
So
yeah,
it adds another
oh,
level.
sorry.
So yes, I love it. So it's not just the water, like, and that makes a lot of sense when you pee a lot. Like in the morning, it's like
Uh,
really yellow because there's a lot of stuff in there, right? But as you drink a lot of water, it turns clear because it's just water. Like everything has gone out. And so yeah, like I mean, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Cool. That's very cool.
Yeah, because basically the nervous system, which is what needs all these minerals, just to give you a kind of a visual, even if it's a verbal visual, is like if you think of a heart, it contracts and then it relaxes. When it contracts, it pulls the blood in. When it relaxes, it pushes the blood out. And that's how a heartbeat works. And that contraction, even for the baby's colon, for the colic, all of those things, your all of those things, it's contraction and then relaxation. And that's how the body works. So if you've got enough calcium and magnesium, contract, relax, and you'll have all those things will be functioning either perfectly or better.
Wow, I mean, that's just, it's cool. And I love that it's kind of contrary to like the common knowledge, but sometimes like the common, like the what's out there. But
Yep.
like we see, for example, I remember back when I was a little kid that everything was like no fat, low fat. And now all the scientists are like, whoa, you need some fats, you guys, that we have a lot of things that are going wrong, as a people, like as a society, because we got rid of those fats. And now they're like, that, you know what, we need to add some fats back in. And so it makes a lot of sense that it might be contrary to what we normally hear, but maybe what we're doing is not working. And so we have to look at it in a new way.
Unfortunately, scientists and all these so-called gurus are giving so much false information and what, like you just described. But when I more than 40 years ago, I found a nutritionist, Adele Davis. She's no longer around, but her books were so enlightening. And then there's another guy, Dr. Royal Lee. I've got so much of their research materials because they make sense. You don't, you need, like you just described, you need fat. There's all kinds of things. Your body needs fat for energy. And there's just, you just said it very well.
Yes. Yeah. And I mean, the right types of fat,
Yeah.
but we do need them in some ways. And like, so,
yeah.
It's just learning and understanding and really like not following fads, but really learning to understand, what is it, like, what is it and how does it affect me? And just getting down to the root of things. So that's really cool. So how can we get in touch with you, Desiree?
Well, and you can write to me, to my email, Desiree, spelled like you've got it on the screen there. I don't know if you, at calmag-c.com. So it's CALMAG-C.com.
And I'll have that in the show notes. That'll be listed down below.
Okay. So any questions? Yeah, and they can go to the website and pull up the nutrition program or ask me. I don't charge for my help and services. If they want to buy CalMag, obviously, yes, but not just for information. Yeah.
And are you on social media?
Yeah. Facebook. Yeah. And the others, but I'm generally, I'm a big Facebook user.
Okay. So where can we find you on Facebook? Do you have a group or a page where we can find you?
Just me personally, Desiree Lotz, just like you got it here.
Okay, perfect.
Yep. Yeah.
I see on your notes, I see we have a Facebook /CalMag-C and then Sunshine Vitamins South Africa. So all of those will be in the show notes so that you can follow Desiree, check out all her channels. And of course, you have a YouTube channel as well. So we've got to check that out and check out your videos because you are so knowledgeable and everything we've talked about. You're just, it's so informative. It's so interesting. And I want to learn more for sure.
Yeah.
Yay.
And I love helping people. So yeah.
I love it. And I love that you're open and you let everybody know. Send me an email, ask me questions. I'm here to help.
Yep.
That is awesome.
Yeah, and no obligations at all. Yeah.
Very cool. So Desiree, what are your last minute tips here for our listeners? What is like the sage advice you've got for everyone?
Okay, I'm going to tell you guys now, because really, first of all, make sure your body is hydrated and you're well fed. Those are the fundamentals. And do not watch the news. Do not read newspapers.
I don't watch the news.
And do not read newspapers. It does this to people. It is so, and they called merchants of chaos. They don't spread truth. They spread lies, and they make people more and more afraid.
I
So,
love it. Yes. And you did mention here one last thing. Um, you talked about in your notes, I really want to touch on this. I've had some guests that where we've talked a lot about like nutrition and weight, and you mentioned weight gain and the key to weight loss. So can you touch on that? And I'm sure that's going to have to do something with the water and the Celtic salt that we're talking about.
well, it does play a part. Um, I think that might be that's kind of a full subject, because there's lots of data I can explain to you on that. So maybe we should do that as a separate interview. But weight loss, I don't get into weight loss as a subject, but I do have a weight loss health coach who sells the CalMag as well. Because when people are losing weight, what's happening is, which is why I think we should do another talk on this, is certain things happen in the body, and all those uncomfortable, unpleasant sensations will, a lot of people will stop trying to do whatever good quality weight loss, not fad stuff. I'm not into any of that. But what can happen and why it happens and how it affects you emotionally or physically.
That is so true. And you know what? I actually, over the last 2 years, I lost like 70 pounds, 60 pounds.
Wow.
And there was a lot of stuff that I hadn't thought about, as far as weight loss. And some things that happened to me that were unexpected that I found out were common when you lose a lot of weight, like being really cold all the time. Apparently, when you lose weight, like, over a
Yeah.
period of time, even, that's pretty quickly, you're cold all the time. And that was so true. Oh my God, it was so annoying. Like
Because fat,
I'm
yeah,
sitting here and my hands are freezing.
that's true, because the fat is like a coating.
Yeah. And like you would never ever think of that. Like
Yeah.
that was never something that I considered, and then yeah, there's so many factors. Learning to work out and do something, like once you lose the weight, then
Yeah.
you're like, okay, now I need new goals, and there's like a whole new world of working out and different things, so wow, that's super cool. I love it.
Yeah.
Awesome. So thank
Okay.
you.
So,
Oh, go ahead.
no, sorry, I just wanted to say that in terms of like weight loss, generally, I don't get into that, but one of my customers does, and maybe I can introduce you to her as well if you want to talk to her. And but from the other perspective, the body and the mental and the physical perspective, I help with that, because those are my skills.
No, I love it. And you know what? It's so important because that didn't happen for me
Mm-hmm.
until I got all the other stuff in place, until I got my mindset right. Like I mentioned, I got
Yeah.
out of survival mode and I was able to finally get into a calm mode and focus and be able to do those things. Um, and then the other part of that was also getting my vitamins in order. I know you mentioned the
Mm,
minerals, but I went to my doctor and I let her know I'm having these symptoms. Like I was experiencing depression. Like I've experienced depression more than half my life,
right.
anxiety. And I talked to my doctor about it. Like,
Uh-huh.
I want to run some blood tests. And she's like, look, you need some vitamins. And
Good on her. I
you know what
like
I'm
that.
saying? And like,
Yeah.
and she was like, go to CVS and buy, go to your pharmacy and buy these vitamins. And she had done and by doing that, I equipped my body to finally, like, all the other things finally made sense, because before I had been fighting myself. Like it was no
Mm,
wonder I didn't have the energy or the motivation. It was B and D were my big ones that were missing. And that has to do with metabolism. That has to do with so much like regulation, and even feeling sadness, feeling those anxiety
yeah.
symptoms.
Yeah.
And so fixing that baseline thing, helped me to do all these other things. It was like, no wonder you couldn't lose weight. Like your
Yeah.
metabolism was at zero. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and so, yeah, that's a really big deal. So getting all of those things, getting the mental into place, even before you start losing weight. I mean,
Yeah.
that's really where it started for me, because if not, you're
And
just
and
battling against yourself.
when I talk mental, I'm not talking about any medication for it. I'm talking about your body just being functioning properly.
Yeah, I mean, because
Yeah.
like what is happiness but
Mm.
electrical and chemical
Y-
combinations happening in
Yeah.
your brain,
Yeah. Yeah.
like that's what it is at the end of the
Yeah.
day. And so we need to learn how to control those and how, like naturally. I'm not talking about taking like stuff, but I'm
Yeah.
talking
Yeah.
about learning how certain vitamins affect you, learning how
Yeah.
to, eating broccoli actually can make you happier, or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. It's a funny. Yeah.
Yeah, so like it's not,
Uh,
like it's science, like because they're, the nutrients or whatever. And so it's really cool. So I love that. Yeah, maybe we could talk about doing another episode. We haven't done that, but that could be something that we could do because
yeah.
this
And
is
then
a
if
really
you,
interesting topic. I love it.
I know it, and it's very important because if
Yes.
people know these things and they don't, then they understand what's happening. When you understand what's happening, you kind of feel better about it. Even if it's happening to you, you understand it. And
Right, because
yeah,
now you can do something. Like when you
yeah,
name a monster, like no, now
yeah,
you know what it is. You can attack it. You can do it,
yeah,
So
exactly.
yes,
Okay,
big
cool. And
deal.
let me know if you want to talk to the weight loss health coach, and I will connect you with her.
Sounds good. Sounds good. We'll
Yeah.
talk about that after we finish up. So,
Okay, doc.
thank you, Desiree. Thank you so much for joining me. This has been awesome. I've learned so
Yeah.
much with you. We definitely need to connect on Facebook.
Uh,
Follow Desiree. Make sure you check out her YouTube channel, check out her website, and join her. Follow her on Facebook for more of this amazing, all of this amazingness. Like get your mind right, like from the inside, right? So I love it.
yeah.
Thank you,
It was
Desiree.
lovely
Have
to.
a great
Yeah. Bye.
day.
You too. Nice talking to you. Bye. Bye.